What if I tell you, you don't need loyal customers, you need lawyers for your brand? And by lawyers, I don't mean actual lawyers, I'm talking about brand advocates. These advocates who live and breathe your brand. These advocates who talk good about your brand and promote your brand to other customers. They fight for your brand. Welcome to the topic of brand advocacy. You may have regular loyal customers who buy your brand, but the ones who fight and breathe your brand are brand advocates. In this video, we're going to talk about certain brands that are loved around the world, and in spite of heavy competition around them, these brands still survive because they have advocates out there for them. A brand advocate is someone who elevates your brand through word-of-mouth marketing. Let's start with the examples. The very first example is of Starbucks. Starbucks has a fan following worldwide. When you come to India, you see a lot of people who go to Starbucks and swear by the brand. These advocates, when they go to Starbucks, they swear by it, sit there, have their coffee with their name written on the cuff, they take pictures of it and post it on social media, in which way Starbucks gets free marketing online. Another example is of the brand Maggi, which was banned in India over a lead controversy. When Maggi came back after its temporary ban, it got a crazy reception from the audience, from the customers in fact. 60,000 packets of Maggi welcome kits were sold out on Snapdeal in just 5 minutes. That's the kind of advocacy that every brand would hope they get. Going on to the third example, and why go very far, a brand that's created an ecosystem, Apple. Today, if you see a person buying an iPhone, it is by default he or she may end up buying an AirPod or an Apple Watch, an iPad or a MacBook. That's the ecosystem they need. In fact, Apple did something very crazy with their smartphones. In order to highlight that the cameras are better, they came out with the hashtag known as hashtag shot on iPhone. A hashtag that people use worldwide whenever they take any pictures on their iPhone and they upload it on the gram on any other social media site. In fact, that hashtag has got more than 30 million numbers on Instagram. When you talk about advocacy, why go far if you look at branded content, especially on OTT platforms? Certain series and sitcoms have some crazy advocacy. For example, Squid Games, Money Heist, House of Cards, or the very famous Game of Thrones, which made us wait for over 10 seasons. In fact, before even a new season would come out, there would be a lot of speculation worldwide, and the brand had to spend less on marketing because the audience would talk about it and discuss it with others. Another brand that we typically survive on a daily basis is the brand Google, which has a very hard advocacy because that's how people talk about it. Google this, Google that. In fact, Google has other brands which people advocate for is Gmail or Google Maps altogether. Moving on to the two-wheeler segment, let's talk about Royal Enfield as a brand altogether. The people who own the brand altogether swear by the brand, have their own community in place to go on touring. And when I talk about two-wheelers, how can I forget Harley Davidson, which has its own community known as Harley Owners Group, HOG. Such brands have a strong advocacy in the market. When it comes to advocacy, football teams worldwide also have a very strong advocacy through which they sell a lot of merchandise as well. Other brands that fall into the whole advocacy gamut, Sephora, Ritz-Carlton, Walt Disney, Nike for footwear, sports footwear. Thus, these customer advocates could be used as an excellent means of communication, PR, and projecting a positive image. At the end of the day, these brand advocates leave a positive review for your product. They also get new customers into your franchise. And finally, they contribute great insights which could be used for your new products in the future. Hope you understood the topic on brand advocacy. Thank you and easy a day.